Good afternoon, everyone. We're at the top of the hour, so we'll get started. I want to welcome you to our monthly construction and traffic impacts webinar. I'm Wendy Thompson from the Streetcar team. Whether you live, work, or run a business along the corridor, this project impacts your daily life. We're committed to being good neighbors, minimizing disruptions, and keeping you informed so you can plan your day with zero surprises. Thank you for taking the time to join us. Before we cover the details of all the upcoming work, please use the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen at any time. Don't feel like you have to wait to the end. To help us navigate all the information about construction and other things on the streetcar, I'm joined by our experts overseeing every angle of this project. We have Mike True, Omaha Public Works Department and the Streetcar Project Manager, Steve Rue, Omaha Public Works Department, Capital Construction and Street Maintenance Engineer, and Alyssa Smith, Omaha Public Works Department Media Relations Manager. Now I'd like to turn it over to Mike True.
Thank you, Wendy. Today's agenda is on the screen. Start off with some safety reminders and go over schedules, get into the projects. We'll hand it back briefly over to Alyssa and Wendy for some comms, and then we'll get into the Q&A. Just as a reminder that you can submit questions throughout the presentation, or you can wait till the end if you prefer. As we are still hot and heavy in construction and will be through the remainder of this year and into next year, do want to remind you to avoid distractions. That's just a general good rule for driving, but those cell phones can be real tempting. Also, make sure you try to follow the detours and particularly don't follow the work vehicles into the work zones. If there's a dump truck, they're probably not taking a shortcut. If they're around here, they're probably pulling into the work. Also, again, try to plan ahead and just be a little patient. We aren't having a huge influx of visitors right now, but especially if you're used to being down here, there's a lot of destinations down here, such as the courthouse, that maybe people don't go to every day. So just a reminder on that. And additionally, make sure, really importantly, you stay out of the work zones. If you have concerns, there's the mayor's hotline for regular business hours. There's also the 24/7 public works line if it's something outside of that. If it's, if something is burning, flooding, something like that, yes, there is 911 if there is a immediate life, health, safety, welfare of the public that you're seeing. But otherwise, please stay out of it. First picture, there's a collapse there. You don't know the state that it could be. You could have a continued slide. Someone walked through a recently finished bit of concrete, leaving some footprints, and then people are parking. The last one's, someone parked at a hooded meter, making it difficult for the work to continue, and that just slows down construction and actually is going to lead to longer timelines. So again, please stay out of the work zones. Our overall construction schedule, you can see as we're now in the 8th month, believe it or not, of 2026. It's kind of flying by. We've got pretty much everything going from Turner on down to the mainline construction work. Turner will be wrapping up here in the next month or two, at least for the field activity that you'll see out there. The bridge is well on schedule, and somewhere around Labor Day should wrap. And we'll also see, hopefully again, early next year, late this year, Utilities East project is ahead of schedule. It's definitely going to be before June of 2027. And our VMF is also trending a little bit ahead. So we got through basically the end of this year, and then we're going to get down to being just track construction and all those direct rail related requirements. And we're now into streetcar projects, and with that, we'll turn it over to Steve Rue to start off with some of them.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike. Starting out with the bridge package. So this project just continues to move right along. I mean, really, we don't have very much longer to go, but we haven't had too many issues with this project. So it's been really great. If you drive by, you see exactly what looks like a bridge at this point. Like it's very nearly finished. The upcoming work we have left is the various appurtenances, fencing, items like that. Recently, we've completed the traffic signal work and the abutments. So really, I mean, we're very, very near completion. There is probably the most significant amount of work that is left on this specific project is along 29th Street there at the edge of the bridge. So that work has about a month left uh, to go. The completion of that work right now is lining up to coincide very well with the Turner package. So we'll talk about that here at the end, but that's fantastic. Those two packages will kind of wrap up roughly about the same time based on the current projections, and we should really be opening traffic back up through here. We'll have both bridges done. I know that seemed like a long ways off 2 years ago, but we're very, very near the end here. So this is great. And yeah, this project's entering its last month and a half of work right now. Moving on to the next utilities east. You know, the slide looked a lot different at the beginning of the year. There was probably more little text boxes than were even possible to be read. So it's really great. You know, you can see none of these call out electrical work. The electrical work's essentially done for this package. We've completed all the work that needs to be done there. You can see the work that is complete. That shaded area just continues to move to the west, which is great. We're down to, you know, most of our significant impacts are water main work. There's still some sanitary work to be completed throughout the remaining portion of this project, you know, 24th Street, 20th Street West. But we are also, you know, as Mike pointed out, you know, we're coming into the end of this year and we'll be down to pretty much just track work. And this is kind of trending this way. For this specific project, I do believe the last area that will be complete is 24th Street. So we're going to see most of the rest of this work get complete all the way out to the bridge, and then probably a crew drop back to do that last bit of water main work right there at 24th Street. But um, again, just continue to move forward. A couple months left in this one. The traffic impacts are starting to lessen a lot from this specific package. We're turning a lot of areas over to the track crews so that that work can continue on time. So this project's moving along really well. The last project that we still have that's active is the Turner package. Uh, this package, again, like I kind of touched on with the bridges, is also nearing completion. We're putting back most of the final paving right now. We do have some remaining punch list items that need to be complete in the large manhole structure that was constructed. You know, if we remember a few months back, there was the very, very large manhole structure in the middle of Turner there. You're going to see some crews working in and out of there just to kind of finish up some punch list items and tie up that structural lining that was put in down there. So they probably have about a month, 5 weeks left of that work. And those two packages, you know, if all goes well, we maintain schedule right now. We're kind of looking at the bridge and Turner coming to a conclusion at roughly the same time right now. And you're going to see traffic open up through here. You'll see us out there just, you know, doing the remaining grass and tidying up and things that need to be done before main line comes through. But yeah, this package is coming to an end. If you drive through there, you know most of what's left is just paving. So my section of this just keeps getting shorter and shorter, Mike. So I'm going to give it back to you.
Certain there's no complaints there from you on that. Thank you, Steve. So as he said, as the utility work wraps up, we continue along with track work. This is an overview of the area, approximate areas, times that they're going to be out there. Orange at the west end, purple, the light green, the red are going on now. And soon later on this year, they'll be moving into the blue and the gray. Starting out west, we got westbound only still on Farnham for currently in the south lane. And you can see all the ped crossings. Just want to remind you, we do have bridges out there, and we are requesting that staying out of the work zones, don't hop the fences or the traffic barriers, even if they are shorter than human height, just so you can go through there. Please use designated crossing points, either intersections that have been left down or these ped crossing areas. And we do also have, there's the different parking garages. The three, and then there's also a public parking lot there as well. But the three parking garages, the first 2 hours is still free out this way. Working at the east end, they're kind of finishing up down there. If you drive past, it's pretty exciting. Most of the rails and all the siding is cast in. You got striping, some of the appurtenances to put back, such as the parking meters still to go, but that's wrapping up here pretty soon. Moving on to the next phase, they're still in the paving, and they'll still have some of the side parts to put back, and they're not quite as far along as everything from 34th to the east, but this should also wrap, we're hoping, by the end of the year. And moving on then to the other part, where they've got track basically up to 36th, 37th Street, just down the block from Jay's. It's still sitting out, hasn't been cast in there. They're still working on some of the sub base. We're still working on some of the civil work out this way. Going back to the east end, Capitol Loop. I do want to mention that westbound on Douglas Street is going to be ending by the end of August, likely the week of August 10th. That'll come down after Maha. Right now, 8th Street southbound has reopened, so that way anyone who comes in here, say on the Capitol Loop, you can get out and go over to the Harney Street exit. Farnham this is the one part of Farnham that is still eastbound only. Please don't drive west. Again, we're highlighting where the crossings are at, everything else. If you're down here for large events, particularly if you're parking in Mecca Lot A, we are still encouraging you to take Douglas Street where it turns into Riverfront Drive and to take you out to Abbott to help with traffic flow. Should note that the corner upcoming around there, they are starting to put in the track. That's technically zone 3-2, but that's that back corner that got started towards or in and around College World Series, and they'll continue to work their way around the loop. So that's part of the reason why the Douglas Street detour is going to be closing, because once they get that all placed, they'll be moving south. We are currently wrapping up there on Farnham. We ran into an issue with a sewer that had to be repaired as of, I believe it was this morning or last night. That issue has been taken care of, and they'll be getting back to casting all that track work in and finishing it up. 10th Street work, for anyone who's been out there, you may have noticed that they were originally doing their rolling effort where they pothole and whatnot, and demolition has actually begun. Dodge and Douglas are going to have to be done in half phases because that's a pair for east-westbound on a state federal highway. So that'll, if you see it get necked down there, that's why. Moving out a little bit now back to the west in the old market area, they still got their rail laydown pile there, and they are from 10th Street going out to 14th. We hope to have a little bit more poured in here starting tomorrow, weather permitting. Today's pour got canceled due to rain. But again, highlighting where you can cross and where you can park, and then the circle with the red slashes to remind you where that street dead ends at. On Harney, they're a little bit further behind. They started this work behind the Farnham Street phase. They've gotten most of the base down and a lot of the utility work continuing on, and soon we'll have a rail pull into this area. From 14th Street going west, they're currently in the demolition phase, so they're going to start, you'll be out there, you'll see them removing pavement north side of Farnham, and then they'll get into all the other the normal work with comms, power, base, and anything else in that excavation. Harney side is going to stretch from 13th to 18th. That was recently turned over to them as our utility contractor had finalized their work in the area, the last of some of the sewer lining. There's still a little bit more that's kind of getting a little double duty from 17th to 18th, but this is now Kiewit's area to go. They're just past about 15th, 16th Street, continuing to go down and pothole, locate utilities, and complete all their pre-activity survey. 16th Street is closed at Harney up to Farnham. This is a power duct line that has to come in along with several vaults for that system. The power substation itself is at the north end, just across the street from First National Bank, and then continues down. So we're starting at the south, working our way north. and they've got demolition and they've got the excavation for that vault. And again, weather permitting, we're going to hopefully be getting back into doing work in that area soon. Vehicle maintenance facility. This is pretty exciting. Kiewit is now in here sharing this site with our building contractor, Sampson. The first major piece for them to put in was on the right side of your screen, that big yellow disc, the turntable that allows them, as a car comes in, they can take the trucks up and off, pull them over, take them over to wash bay, take them to other areas to work on it. So that was kind of a key critical component. This is one of the first ones that gets cast in, and it's just some work proceeding along in there. VMF is running well, and no problems to report at this time there. Again, our construction dashboard, this is updated, I believe it's bi-weekly, but it'll show you, we're all happy to see that the gas work is completed everywhere. Major utilities are wrapping up and very near completion in most areas, and mainline work has broke ground just about everywhere. So this project really is progressing along. And with that, we'll turn it back over to communications team, Wendy and Alyssa.
Awesome. Thank you, Mike. So we have several public involvement opportunities. The first being our webinar here that we do every first Wednesday of the month at noon. We know that sometimes these are hard to attend right in the middle of the day, so we do put these online as well. If you pre-register, you can send us your questions and we will respond during the webinar, or email you directly if we need any sort of clarification on your question. So please join us the first Wednesday of every month or watch online after. Our next one will be September 2nd at noon. We also have monthly Streetcar Authority board meetings. These are open to the public. Everyone is welcome to attend. We highly encourage everyone to attend. Our next one is August 17th at 1:30 here at the Civic Center. You can also find that information on our website. Also, other good ways to get updates is our website. We update the neighborhood content on here every Thursday afternoon. Currently, our website is down. We are doing some maintenance on our website. However, if you go to publicworks.cityofomaha.org, you can still see, as you scroll about halfway down, you can still see our maps with our closures. So if you need that information, it is still available to you. This information is also still getting sent to GPS apps like Google and Waze and Apple Maps. So if you're trying to find a destination, those GPS apps should all be updated for you. When our website is back up tomorrow afternoon, you can go and sign up for our website or our text messages, and we will send out updates directly to you as well. So the city has partnered with some businesses along the corridor to create our This Way marketing campaign. It comes completely free for business owners or businesses along the corridor to use, and includes social media templates, video templates, all kinds of good stuff in there. If you would like to participate, go ahead and send me an email and I will send you this kit and help set up a call to walk through everything that's in this kind of marketing toolkit for you. You'll also see that we have put up all kinds of banners and a billboard and other sidewalk stickers throughout the corridor to increase the This Way awareness as well. We have also set up a $1 validation parking program. Our Park Omaha division was able to put this together. There's 4 different parking garages that are available for businesses to sign up, and then your employees can park there. And you, as a business owner, will be able to validate and pay that parking for a $1 flat fee kind of rate. We do have one of these $1 parking available to the general public, and that is our Wealth and Capital parking garage. You can see that's available kind of in the evenings, overnight hours, and then the entire weekends that garage is available for public parking. Oh, the Nebraska Enterprise Fund the Nebraska Enterprise Fund partnered with a donor and the Streetcar Impact Alliance to create a fund. This is a mix of grants and low interest to partially and fully forgivable loans based on business need and impact. We are encouraging all businesses to go to that nebbiz.org/streetcar. They have a ton of FAQs and you can apply right online. They are also hosting an open house for businesses that are looking to have more information. That open house is on August 17th at 5 p.m. at the NEF office on 30th Street. So we encourage all businesses to apply, call the number, or email and ask any questions you may have. Finally, if you have any unanswered questions or want to learn more about the construction happening in your area, please reach out to myself, Wendy, or Noelle, and we will be happy to answer those for you. I will now pass it back to Wendy for a couple questions.
Thank you, Alyssa. Mike, sure, let's start with the questions that were sent in ahead of time. So they're asking about the concrete that's poured directly around the rails and wondering if it's different than what's poured back around the rest of the street. They notice that a lot of times we pour just the rails and then we pour the rest of the street a week or so later.
Yeah, the concrete that's actually within the track section is a different mix design, different spec. There's some fiber dosing and a few other things, but part of it is you also are going to want that physical bond break, and then the actual track section that takes the rails, you pour that, and then you have to feather out and try to catch grade appropriately as you pour out to the sides. And that's not going to be all done in one mass. So there's kind of a couple of reasons you might do it, but yes, the basis of the question, the concrete that goes in the rails is different than regular concrete you're going to see in other areas.
Thank you. So Mike, what is the up-to-date time frame for completion of all of the Capitol Loop construction? Do you have that information? Otherwise, I can go back to the other slide.
All Capitol Loop, I guess, just want to clarify, Capitol Loop is just going up 10th around 9th and onto Capitol itself. So when they're done out of zones 3-1, 3-2, or some people reference the Capitol Loop, the whole thing, Capitol to Farnham, 8th to 10th. If it's just the upper side, we're going to call it down to like Mecca Drive and the BB Runyon Douglas Street. Just that's going to be closer to first quarter next year is about where we're going. If you include all of 10th Street with the bridge overlay and everything else, that's going to be closer to quarter 2, quarter 3 next year. Kind of depends on what those boundaries are, but yeah, that's roughly that.
Excellent. And we were also sent a question about the Omaha Marathon, which I've already responded to. And someone else said something about MUD work, but it wasn't really clear. So I have reached out to them to ask them to clarify, but we won't ask that question for now.
Okay. Generally speaking, the MUD work, direct MUD work that they were doing in the corridor was gas, and that's wrapped. If that helps.
Mhm.
Yeah, that is wrapped, but I don't know if that's what they're asking. So I just wanted to clarify if that's what they meant. And then our first question that was sent in during the webinar was from the media. I just want to say we are working on a response to this question already, so I'm not going to ask this one during this session. We'll get that clarified through the other channels we're working on. So then our next one is how much do winter conditions hurt the timeline, and what work is still possible in winter conditions?
So when we negotiated this thing, there's going to be at least 2 winters in there. It's essentially accounted for in the schedule. It does slow down work. Frozen ground is harder to dig, harder to put back. Just like high temperatures bad for concrete, real cold, you have to put down, make sure that the ground isn't frozen, and then you have to protect the concrete for longer after it's placed. And I don't know the full requirements of the continuous weld 115, but welds you may have to preheat, do some other things. There's some extra activities they have to do. With the way construction has advanced, we generally can do about anything in the winter, barring obviously major snowstorms having to clear out that snow. You're still going to lose some days to weather. You can still
But
progress, but it's at a slower pace.
those and that time is accounted for generally when we put these schedules together. So anytime we put together, not just for this project, but any other project that spans over a year, we have an understanding over like the last decade of how many days we lose to rain, to snow, to cold temperatures, to high temperatures. And then those days are added into the contract. So Mike is correct that we absolutely continue to work through conditions, but as far as the actual overall projection of time, those days are accounted for. Now, obviously, if we have an extremely brutal winter, like I think 2020, where it snowed every single week, every single Friday, 6 or 7 weeks in a row, that might be different. But in general, we do account for those days. So the actual projection of the schedule accounts for some weather.
Thank you. Our next question, they're asking about why we do early morning work. And generally that's just for the rail pulling and some of the concrete work, but do you want to talk about why that happens so early in the morning?
Yeah, as far as the rail poles and some of the concrete work that we do very early in the morning, a very significant part of that is that requires full closures, and we are trying to maintain access along these corridors, that maybe have one lane in either in one direction or the other. Obviously, people still need to get to work. They need to get in and out of their house. They need to go where they're going. So we do try to accommodate that. Additionally, especially in the summer, there are advantages to doing that work when the temperature is more consistent, when we're out of the sun, especially, back to the question about the mix design, that fiber reinforced concrete that we use around the rails can be very stiff. It can be tricky to work with. So you want to work with it at a time when the temperatures and the other conditions are as optimal as possible so that you aren't struggling with if you try to move that to noon to 2 and you get a high temperature, you can start to get higher winds. It becomes much more difficult to get a good finish on it. So there's kind of a combination of things there. It's one, access to the roads that are there, and then two, the nature of the work that needs to be done and when that can be done. Rail poles, similarly, we do those earlier in the morning. It takes that we restrict a lot of access to the streets. We have a convoy of things that are moving. It's just easier to do that when there's not traffic and people trying to get from place to place.
So she clarified and said they were using jackhammers, but I think that's usually like when they're tightening the rails before the pours, right?
Yeah, we do restrict work. I know there's a lot of construction done down. We do restrict work on this project. Anything that's going to be loud, we do not allow before 7 a.m., which is per ordinance. I will say we get a lot of complaints. We look into many of them. There have obviously been occasions that somebody is out there doing something that maybe they should have been waiting to do. And then in other cases, it is a different construction site or something adjacent to our project that is making that noise. Especially things like jackhammering. We're not driving pile, we're not jackhammering, we're not doing things like that early in the morning.
Thank you. Got another question about schedule, which I have this person's contact information. We'll follow up with her on this question here. Um, and then our final question, unless any more come in, so someone joined late, so they were wondering about the completion of the Farnham Bridge.
Farnham
Yep.
Bridge
So
is, oh, go ahead.
yeah, as far as the bridge goes, we're coming into about the last month, 5 weeks here. So the bridge itself, if you could drive by and look at the bridge, is mostly done. And actually, the most significant amount of work left on that project is the work at 29th and Farnham intersection. So that should wrap up. Right now, it's pacing out to wrap up at the exact roughly the same time as the Turner package that's right behind it. So hopefully, you should see kind of all those things come together here in about 5 weeks, I think is where we're at, and you'll see a lot of access restored back to that avenue, which I know everybody would appreciate.
Thank you. And the noise complaint question, I see you had a follow-up. I'll follow up with you after this webinar to get some more information, okay?
Yeah, if there's a specific complaint, if someone is out there doing something they should not be doing, let us know and we can work on it.
Yeah, we'll follow up on these questions about
Okay,
noise. Yeah.
cool.
So that's the end of our webinar today.
Thank you all
Thank
for
you.
attending. Thank you for working through with us on
There's
this.
actually one more question in the chat, Wendy.
I see it. I'll follow up on it.
Okay,
It's another noise one.
perfect. Sounds good.
Sorry, Mike.
Sorry, Mike.
No, I was just gonna say thanks everyone for your time. Thanks for attending, and thanks for working through us as we go through. Well, literally starting a new transit system for the city of Omaha. We kind of try to transform our downtown urban core. So, thanks.
Thank you,
Thanks.
everyone.